Okay guys, I got another Fleet Ops audio commentary for you. Now we have Klingon. Okay, seriously, do you guys want me to call you by your Tungle names or your in-game? We have Klingon/Zap on the left, along with Drone971. On the right we have Sutee, or the Master Old Big Noob Sutee. And then we have a new player over here called Annette that I have not seen play before. This is a left versus right, so we have... Let's try that again. So Klingon as Romulans, and his ally, who is Drone, also as Romulans, dual Romulan team, versus Sutee, who has Federation, and I think Annette was also Federation. So, man, we're getting a lot of dual matches these days. So 2 Feds versus 2 Romulans. The map is Rotary Super Collider of my own design. It's gone through some modifications and we'll probably go through some more before the next patch. So Sutee is queuing a lot of workers. He's planning to expand forward pretty early in this game. We also have 3 other, let's see. We also have 2 other observers, including me, so if this guy lags too much, we're going to kick him. Sorry, Martok. There it goes. The patience of the players has run out. So, what shall I talk about today? As you can see here, Drone is building a mining colony and another mining colony. I'm kind of surprised. This is a relatively small map. This is a 14K by 14K, which I think dual is the same. So there are 2-player maps that are the same size as this. I mean, the players are kind of in the corners, but it is still very short travel distances. There is a lot of rushing possible on this map. And Annette is getting a 3rd constructor. Usually, players who've been playing for a longer time don't do this. They can just get away with 2, because getting that early constructor delays your freighters so much. But, you know, no criticism. Over here, we have Sutee's getting his yard and his engineering. That means a Starfleet command rush, which makes sense. He has a new player on his team. He's hoping to get a blob and play defensively, I think. Klingon's getting his star yard, and he's probably going to start on his field research shortly. Or maybe he's getting mining as well. Maybe he's going to go Rians, maybe? And we saw how well my Rians worked out earlier against Feds. Now he's switching to Generics. And down here, Drone is getting a star yard and expanding. Okay, he's just going to get this dilithium. They're sort of like a defensive and an offensive way to play this position. You can either get this dilithium and then the safe tritanium, or you can try to push forward for the central expansion, which the Romulans are not too good in this position because they can't really fortify this unless they get a 2nd yard. So this is probably the safer choice for him. In a case like this, I'm sometimes tempted to put my 1st yard all the way out here and not even have one at home. It's a bit risky on this moon, but for Romulans, their yard placement is very key in the early game. And here we have 2 yards up from Annette. Oh, but not the engineering yet. More early game advice. Unless you're going to go saber spam, you're going to get chassis level 1 research at your engineering. And since the engineering, the chassis level 1 research has the exact same time as the Antara's yard cost to build. So often you'll want to get your engineering before the yard, and then you can start the yard building and get the tech at the exact same instant, and then you can start going into monsoons and intrepids, which are usually sabers aren't worth it unless you're going hard for sabers, which she's playing Risner, so Risner is often the one people choose if they're doing a saber spam, so maybe that is what she's trying. Sutee, he's getting his monsoons, and I would expect to see a science coming up. Well, maybe he's changed his mind, because he is going into dual-yarded monsoons now. Maybe it was just preference to get the yard at the same time as the engineering. And there's a Generax. Oh, another one. Like I say, I don't want to do criticism because this is also a very old patch, and the devs have put a lot of work into the new one. It's going to be really cool. But this Generax, the one that they're testing out, in the new version, these torpedoes are going to do extra damage to defensive ships, which is very nice. But in this version, they do extra damage to large ships and reduce damage to small. And for a super early game ship like it is now, that's no good at all. This thing, it can't kill a monsoon because it's going to be missing 40% of its shots are going to be missing that monsoon. So these monsoons will be able to completely shut down the Generax coming from Klingon. Over here, Drone is he's going Rien spam, probably because the strategy allows him to get a second yard, which he will probably put over here. Which, Riens versus Sabres, it's a bit of a toss-up. They're both very similar, but it depends on whether Annette is actually going for a full-on Sabre spam, or if she was just getting those as starting because that's what the AI does a lot. Oh, okay, it looks like Sutee's giving her some advice. She's getting chassis level 1 now. So, what it comes down to is, Sutee is the most experienced player here. He's been around a really long time. And he's got his monsoon double yarding, which is one of the most borderline overpowered strategies in the game. And he's going against Klingon's Griffins, which are not going to be able to handle him. Okay, now, or Generax, but now he's shifted to Griffins. So I can expect Sutee to win this battle up here, I'm pretty sure. But then down on the bottom, we have the new player Annette, who's going to try to hold her own against the Riens of Drone, sorry. And now he is switching into Laval's. Maybe he's going for Singularity Generax. I think that's a bit of mercy on his part. He wants to tech up a bit and give the new player a bit of a chance to get her own stuff together. She's got the chassis research and probably making monsoons now. Yep. I'm sorry, I did not see if he got a kill, but I think he did not kill any miners with his his 2 monsoons. Now this yard placement for these fast monsoons is going to be pretty nice. They can cycle through right there and just come straight back to the battle. The miner, on the other hand, I don't think it's going to get out. And I don't know if Sutee has the ability to really kill off these Romulan ships. He can only scare them off. But if he gets proximity torpedo on these, then he will be able to start getting kills. And that's a very nice strategy because it allows him to build up his monsoon fleet now, and then when he gets proximity torpedo, they all get stronger all at once. So we have more Griffins coming out from Klingon. I wonder if he's going to get sensor jammer for those. Drone has his mining. Actually, all these guys have their mining. They're getting as many resources as they can. Which, like I say, on a map like this, small travel distances, it's a bit risky, but... 1 Generax. What is it for? Upgrade facility. He wants to try Spectres, I think. Yeah, so the new Generax Spectre, which I don't know if this is how it's going to exist in 4.0, but in this iteration, it's a very fancy ship. Very exciting. It has projectile weapons, extra damage to small ships, fast tracking computers, extra damage to short range, so it will rip these monsoons apart. It also has a special buff that gives it resistance to low damage weapons, which the monsoon has. it's weapons with the defense under 10, or damage under 10, not offensive value. So for example, like the Klingon Katinga, I think, it does more than 10 damage, even though it has low offensive value. Its individual shots are high. So Sutee is going to rip apart this mining, but he did lose a constructor, which is going to hurt him pretty badly, especially when he wants to go for getting his Starfleet command. He also wants to get a platform over here. Okay, down here, Drone attacked with his Riens. He doesn't have phase plates, so he isn't really going into them that heavily. He's just using them to harass for now. Test the waters over here. Annette is getting monsoons pretty fast though, and I think she's probably going to go ahead and get Starfleet command. Now this platform, you don't really need a platform near your home base. I mean, maybe you could make it into a pinging platform to detect cloak, but your home base has pretty big turrets on its own. Yep, there. Oh. Oh. Drone, are you getting a Tavara? Are you getting a Tavara in my game that I'm recording? Actually, props to that. If you can actually get that out, I will be pretty impressed. You know what the build time on a Tavara is? I want to say 3 minutes. It costs 1,400 and like 600, I think. So he might maybe cancel Evolve for that. If he gets a Tavara out, it'll be pretty awesome. Yeah, there's Annette getting a platform over here. That's actually it. Yeah, it's an okay placement. I would have put it like way out here in front of the moon because they don't really want to deal with it. And you want it to get as many shots off as possible, because they can still come in and kill these fighters. Now Drone has his Singularity refit and he has his phase plates. All of his ships are forward firing, so they're not too good at kiting back, but he can repair them. There we go, we have, yep, 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes of game time, he'll have a Tavara out. And it will completely outclass everything else on the map. Unless Sutee just comes over and kills it. Well, comes over and kills the yard, I mean. Oh, and these got tagged, so Klingon is going to retreat here. He can't deal with that cloak detect. And now Sutee, you see, this is how the Feds do it. They keep their fleet around, they get their little cloak detect, they build the platform. There's really nothing you can do except try to go somewhere else. And since the monsoons are faster than these Griffins, the Griffins will have some pretty nasty firepower coming on, as you can see. Like, their damage is very nice for an early game ship. Even though they're a cruiser, they're an early game cruiser. So for their tech level, they have amazing damage. As we saw in the last game, compared to the Vorcha, which is a later game ship, they really can't compete. Here he has a Singularity transmitter. So he's hoping to use Sensor Jammer as much as possible. I don't think it's going to be strong enough to help him against these monsoons, because it only lasts for 6 seconds. But yeah, Sutee's not even messing around. He's upgrading that turret now. And he's going to be mining out of 3 and 2. 3 dilithium, 2 tritanium. And I bet he has Proxy Torp. Yeah, he has Proxy Torp. So these Klingons, or these Romulans are going to get wasted. Oh, did he leave them on auto fire? Oh, that's not so good. You really want to save those up and use them on one target all at once. And these Riens, too. Klingon has built a lot of ships when I wasn't paying attention. Or maybe did... Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Drone has transferred his Riens. And maybe his entire fleet? Yeah, Drone has transferred his entire fleet over to Klingon. I'm wondering if they've made sort of a gentleman's agreement that Sutee is going to stay out of this bottom fight. Or they're not going to cross battles, so... Right now, he has nothing. Drone has 1 Laval, and he's about to have a Tavara, and he's going to play with just that. So with those reinforcements, I mean, this is fair. This is sportsmanship. Because now... Oh no. Oh no. Let me see this yard. Right, so that's a Halev. Okay, they're both Halev. I was going to say, there is an avatar switch thing where if this player, if Drone was Muriel and he was Halev and he transferred these Rands over, then he would not be able to get faceplates on them because it would technically be a Muriel Rian and he would upgrade faceplates for all of his Halev Rians and he wouldn't be able to get it ever because the game does actually differentiate between avatars. But in this case, they are Halev, so if he wants, he could get faceplates on them, and that would help him out a lot against these monsoons, because the monsoons deal the Rians can't really deal any damage to the monsoons because they take half damage, but then they activate faceplates, the monsoons auto-target them, and they tank. And there's the Tavara. So now Annette's gonna find out what it's like to face the second strongest ship in the game. Well, okay, debatable. There's dreadnoughts, there's cubes. Cubes are definitely more expensive, but it's one of the toughest ships in the game. And these monsoons are not going to be able to kill it before it goes back into the yard. And any minute now, he's going to upgrade. Like, he's going to buy the upgrades probably, and all of its stats will go up even more. And he's getting to Daredexes. I would have preferred Direxen, but they take extra damage from short range. So Annette has stopped building ships, probably a bit unsure of what to do. Hopefully Sutee will see that and just advise her to get more stuff down. You say Starfleet Command. Honestly, more monsoons. You just want a lot of monsoons. I'm gonna see how things are going up in this intense upper battle, though. Sutee is actually just gonna slide over here and get more mining up. He's got his Tritanium here, which makes me wonder if he's getting like improved weapons, improved shielding, or anything. Here comes the Tavara again. It's just gonna kill off something. He just wants to get experience on this thing. He just wants it to rank up. There we go. There's one rank. Now these Lavals are significantly not as invulnerable as that Tavara, so the monsoons might be able to kill that. No, but they're just going to get kited back. Oh yeah, they announced a couple days ago that the Daredex is getting a new model in the next patch. Really, dude? You're dual-yarding warbirds against a new player. For shame. Shame on you. You could have played this game with just the Tavara. Maybe like keep these two Lavals in the Tavara and just play with that. And here we have Sutee's monsoons coming in to whack something. I want to see the proxy torp. There it goes. There was one Generix, and yeah, so these sensor jammers are going to reduce the firepower a little bit, but not very much. There goes another Generix. And the monsoons are dying. There's a lot of damage coming out of these Griffins, but each Griffin costs as much as 2 monsoons. And they're dying at about the same rate, I'd say. So this is, Sutee has the upper hand here. Of course, the Tavara might come in and have something to say about that. Oh well, Sutee is going to do what he can do. Man, he's getting some really good kills here. But what's he going to do? I mean, he'll kill off these Lavals, maybe. What is he producing? Has he been able to afford Starfleet Command yet? Nope. Switching over to some Intrepids. Lots of Intrepids, because those will do better against the Griffins. The monsoons are good because of proxy torp and because they just can be swarmed in such high numbers. And also because they don't take massive damage from Lavals like Intrepids do. Intrepids are a really nice ship to use against Romulans, except for the Laval can kill them. But not many Lavals, he's going to switch to Intrepids, and those are going to do very nicely. He also has their special, which is very nice for killing warbirds and also these cruisers. So, I mean, between these Griffins and Lavals, once the Feds get more ships, it gets to the point where every single battle you start, Proxy Torpedo kills off one Romulan ship, and then Tricobalt kills off a second one. Meanwhile, Annette has gotten 2 Irradiards, but she's not building out of them. You really need to build ships, you can't just have the factories. And here he's engaging them right on the yard, which is not a bad idea, actually. And right here, Klingon would lose everything except for the Tavara. And Sutee says he's had enough of that. Oh well. It was a good game because we got to see a Tavara fight something. And even with an AI playing, they'll still get plenty of kills on this Romulan fleet. As long as they don't do whatever they're doing. What are they doing? Oh boy, yeah. The AI is dividing its fleet, it's flying around in circles. The warbirds are just doing whatever they want, showing off their power. He has so many. What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 regular warbirds and a Tavara. Okay, we're finished here. This is Triptych signing off.